it doesn't have to be complicated. Why do you want to have big, massive loads when you ejaculate? Because you like the aesthetic? Dope. Get after it. Have fun. But I do think exploring why is also a really essential and important thing because of that sex negative narrative that we're all marinating in. Again, no pun intended. In this society, right? Like the way that we are taught, like we're taught not to explore our eroticism. We're taught that all of our sex should be vanilla and it should look a certain way and be a certain way and only certain people should be doing it for certain amounts of time at certain ages, like the whole thing. It's really rough.
It's like we're all just lying on our backs and different things in the world, they're all giving us a shame bukkake. Pun very much intended.
Absolutely intended on that one. And that's so there's sort of the two sides of the why coin where like why is an important question to explore, but there's so much value in exploring why because it gives you an opportunity to like be curious and know yourself and engage with your sexuality and like expand your attraction map and your desire map and try new things and have fun and experience pleasure. It is not, the goal of why is not, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why am I like this?
I imagine it's similar to it's a the difference between a curious, genuine interest why and a judgmental why when you're having a conversation with someone else. So if you were to tell me, oh, I'm a sex therapist, and I go, oh, why? It feels different than I'm a sex therapist. Why?
Exactly.
That feels different.
Yeah.
That feels like, whoa.
But most of the way that we talk about sex in our society creates why as the judgmental one.
Right.
So it's scary to explore. It's scary to check. And a lot of times when we start to look, all those stories pop up. Why are and in this article, right, so many of the men who are talking about why they're doing this, it's coming from a place of like virility and like masculinity and like wanting to this sort of like narrative that's been popular in our society recently about like hypermasculinity and like how to be that way, and this idea that like massive ejaculate loads is part of that.
Yeah, and you receive that message and then it's confirmed when you watch certain porn. In this article, they talk about Peter North, who is known for his
massive loads.
Massive load size.
Yes.
And it
sheer volume of ejaculate.
Sheer volume of ejaculate. Just rivers and rivers of the stuff. Oceans. It says, the influence of pornography this is from the article. The influence of pornography on this space is unavoidable. Every man I spoke to cited porn as a part of why they wanted to increase their volume. Then says, quote, this is from a sex coach, says, if the majority of erotic content in our lifespan is porn, then we are naturally looking at our own life and making comparisons. What do you think about that statement?
Naturally is an interesting word. I mean, we are trained to compare. But I also, there's a couple things, right? Like life imitates art, imitates life, imitates art, right? Like it's a feedback loop that chicken and egg, hard to find the start, right? Why is, Peter North such a popular porn star? Why do people want to see the rivers of cum? I mean, what is aesthetically pleasing, what is aesthetically pleasurable, what is desirable to watch and enjoy is not necessarily the same thing as what is pleasurable to experience.
So I want to take that and go to another topic that we were talking about, and that is the disconnect between what we see presented in a lot of pornography versus what people report to actually enjoying. And one thing that you talked about was facials.
Yeah. facials are really popular in pornography.
Can we specify what a facial is, just for anyone who may? Let's not assume. We're not talking about the cucumbers on the eyes and that, because that was very confusing to me as a kid, by the way, that those are called the same thing.
Do you remember when I brought this topic up to be like, oh, I want to make sure we talk about this on the podcast, and I said I want to talk about face washes on the podcast? Yes. Which is a hockey term for when you rub your stinky glove all over your opponent's face.
But it could be a sex term if you make it a sex term.
Yes, we can create slang at any time.
Yes.
So a facial in this context is to dress one's face, the sexual partner's face, with ejaculate during what is often in porn called like the money shot. So it's like while ejaculation is happening, the ejaculate is hitting or washing the woman's face. Usually a woman, not always. It can be anybody.
Just a wash in semen.
Yes. And generally speaking, it is like the point of the shot is to see the receiver's face like very drenched and like dripping with ejaculate. And so in order to create that imagery, you need a pretty high volume release. And so you get this sort of you can see how this feedback loop sort of happens. Now, the research suggests, and I should find the research and like drop a link to it at some point. But like the research suggests that the number of people who receive facials, like the percentage of people receiving facials in pornography versus the percentage of people who are requesting or expressing that they desire and enjoy facials is pretty disproportionate. That a much lower number of people are seeking them out. Not zero by any means. It is not an unpopular or there's nothing bad about it. It's just overrepresented in the pornography. And so if the large majority of how you're finding building your relationship to sex and sexuality is through visual consumption of pornography, you're getting a misrepresentation of what's popular.
And I think that kind of we should do an episode on that, by the way. And we've talked about it a little bit before in past episodes. The difference between sex as entertainment and sex in real life. And there's nothing wrong with sex as entertainment, just like there's nothing wrong with anything as entertainment. But we have to understand that it's not real life. I remember watching I grew up on 90s action movies, and all the action stars would shoot their guns and they'd hold them like this at their waist. No one fires a weapon like that.
No.
But that's something that is just in movies. It's entertainment. There's things that we accept as just it's entertainment, and there's no need to be super accurate about it because it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we know it's entertainment.
Well, we know it's entertainment.
Yeah.
And so part of the challenge, right? And actually, I've been really wanting to run a workshop on this. So if you're watching and you are interested, I really want to do a workshop on having a critical eye for the media that we consume, so that we can begin to there's a lot of finger pointing and shame blaming and name don't watch this because the way that sex is shown in this is bad for these reasons. And it's what if we know it's bad and it's funny or fun and we enjoy it, but we're not blindly consuming it in a way that it's painting and instructing and informing how we are navigating our own understanding of sex and sexuality and what we're putting back out, right?